Okay, we are set. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you very much for coming here. And if you're catching the recording, thank you very much for listening to this exciting conversational interview that we have happening this afternoon. So as you already know, I am Tanya Otterstein-Liehs, empowering movement and life coach for busy moms of preteen to teenage kids. But of course, you don't need to be a mom to really, really realize that you are important to yourself, that you need to develop a strong, positive mindset, which will allow you to shift into becoming self-confident, feeling self-worth, and ultimately becoming empowered. So with me today, I have a very special guest. And I met Trish actually last year at the CanFit Pro, the women's luncheon that happened prior to the large conversation happening and the conference going forward. And at the Women Lunch, it was all based on empowerment and the why you're important. And I was lucky enough, I picked a table and Trish came and sat down beside me, and I felt a really good vibe with her. And now going forth, as you know, I'm going into collaboration, seeking other health and wellness expert ladies that we're all sharing the similar road of going forward to enable you to say, yes, I deserve this, to self-empowerment. So Trish, I want to welcome you and thank you so much for being here and having this conversational interview with me. Thank you very much for giving up your busy afternoon to be here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to having a wonderful chat with you and exchanging some great ideas.
Excellent. So Trish, can you tell the listeners, please, a little about yourself, as in what you do and why do you have this driven passion that keeps you moving forward to doing what your professionalism is about?
Sure. So I actually I'm an author, coach, and speaker. So for me, the journey really began with my first book in 2008 when I closed my marketing and communications company and I went into the health and wellness sector. So in 2016, actually, who knew when I was writing a book called Breaking Barriers, 10 Entrepreneurial Women Share Their Stories, that the topic of women in entrepreneurship would become so popular. So I've been working in the last few years with entrepreneurs and helping them find their balance between wealth and well-being. So why do I love it? I probably love it the same as you do because I get just as much from my clients, hopefully, that they get from me. So it's really a wonderful exchange.
It is. It is. And you mentioned, Trish, you mentioned that you wrote 2 books.
I have.
Where can people purchase those books? Because I think you told me that one of them is available in Chapters Bookstore. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Maybe you can tell me a little about that book.
Sure. So Breaking Barriers is sharing stories of 10 entrepreneurial women, and we have, I call it ordinary women doing extraordinary things. So the premise of the book was really written on if we can do it, you can do it attitude. Mm-hmm. And they are all available in Chapters Indigo across Canada. It's available in Barnes & Noble in the United States, and it's also available on Amazon. So I have the quick links on my website if anyone wants to visit that. But it's really been a wonderful collaborative effort. Chapters has been very supportive of us across the country. Excellent. So and I've really had lots of fun actually going out and meeting people in some of the bookstores when I've been there doing book signings. Yes. We have a life-size card, believe it or not, the cover of the book. And anyone who purchases a book has the opportunity to sign the card. And I'm actually donating all of my author royalties to an organization called SheEO, and they help fund female entrepreneurs. So it's really full circle, really helping the entrepreneurial journey.
Lovely. And the book was called Breaking Barriers, was it?
Correct. Breaking Barriers, 10 Entrepreneurial Women Share Their Stories.
Excellent. Yeah. And it sounds like, because they're women, entrepreneurs, it sounds to me like there's a really strong theme in your book when you talked about empowerment and enabling that self-development. So is your book really focused on the main keys, or does it branch into other things as well, Trish?
It's really kind of fun because each of the ladies provide 3 words of advice about their own entrepreneurial journey. They sort of share some of the tips and tools and maybe some of the barriers that they had to overcome in their own entrepreneurial success. And what's really fun is we have an entrepreneur in their early 30s, and we have another entrepreneur that's sort of in mid to late 60s. Don't want to give away anybody's age. And kind of the breadth in between. So we only have one entrepreneurial mom who fits into your category,
Yes.
where she's got 2 sort of teenage kids and is finding the challenges of running a business and having a family.
Yeah.
But we sort of go the whole breadth. We have really very different, diverse backgrounds, and there's everything from the funeral industry to multi-level marketing to consulting to health and wellness. So we really kind of cover a landscape architect. We sort of have everything. I tried to pick different industries so that everyone would be interested or find some sort of symmetry with the folks that were being interviewed for the book.
Yeah. And it sounds like your book could almost apply to any woman.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily even in a business, but it sounds like there's some really strong points in your book that could speak to everyone. And at the end, Trish, I'm going to ask you again where just the title and where people can purchase it and find more out about it. Now, aside from this wonderful book that you were a part of and were inspired to collaborate with 10 entrepreneurs and talk about, women's mindsets, you also have a business, Trish. So can you tell me a little about more about what you do and what decided to get you into the health and wellness? Because from what you mentioned, you started with one business, but as all of us, we never really stay in, the same career, right? So it was really nice to hear that there was a higher calling for you and you decided to listen to it because that's what your gut said. So I really, really love to know more about your business.
Sure. So I was doing some consulting work and contract work with companies, helping them sort of find opportunities to increase revenue. And while I was doing that, obviously, you work with various different teams of people. And it became to notice that some of those folks kept saying, you're a really great mentor. Why don't you, help mentor people to find their own success? And I got to thinking about it and I thought, you know what, maybe that would be a really interesting thing to do. So it was sort of a natural progression, going from one business to another. I'm a lifelong learner. So like you, we're both certified personal trainers. And so we have to take continuing education units just to sort of upgrade our skills and make sure that we're offering our clients what they're looking for. And so I went on this quest to try to find the best way to try to help empower and motivate other people. And so I became a member of the Certified Coaches Federation and started taking various different classes. I'm EQ certified, which is all about emotional intelligence and how we have sort of 15 soft skills that we can change and all of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So using all of those skills, very much like you, I mean, I'm really very interested to hear about your academy, Empowering Academy that you started online, because when we were talking about this interview, that really piqued my interest.
Yeah. So thanks very much for asking about that. So same thing with you, Trish, really, looking at the whole woman. And, I feel we have that same road path that, yes, fitness and taking care of your physical self is important. However, it's the mindset that needs to shift, right? It's the mindset that needs to change, because it's no matter how much you include movement, exercise into your life, we both know it's very important, but if you do not have self-worth, if you do not have self-confidence, if you're looking in the mirror and just not loving yourself, then it doesn't matter how much you exercise, but you're always going to ridicule and find negative thoughts. And that's where my Self-Empowerment Academy came along. In 2016, I started to rebrand and change my way of thinking because, women, my clients, my fitness participants, they were telling me the same thing. Tanya, you're my psychologist, you're empowering my mind, you're changing my mindset. So I really listened to that and said, yeah, that is so much what it is totally about. And with my Self-Empowering Academy, it's to keep, I mean, we're so stressed in this crazy digital world. Nobody knows how to walk away and breathe. And with the Self-Empowerment Academy, it's taking really easy, digestible steps that are easy to do, that are not overwhelming, to get you moving forward. So it is a monthly membership. It's done in a private, closed Facebook group. And what happens is every week I put in the group, this is I don't want to call it a challenge, but this is what a tip, a task is for the week. So for example, this week when you look in the mirror, you are going to love something on your body, and really going forth the whole week. And again, nothing can be, that mindset has been so ingrained, if you look at yourself in a negative way, that it's a continuing positive journey. And there's a lot of support there, and every week again there is a different motivational quote, inspiration to get you moving forward. Also on the Wednesday we would meet in Zoom to talk as a group. What are the roadblocks you're having? What's the one thing great and wonderful that happened? Because we need to celebrate even the tiny baby steps. And I say we need to celebrate the tiny baby steps, because let's say you were not moving your body before, right? But now you're taking 20 minutes every day to move your body. So whether that's going for a walk, whether that's at your workplace, instead of using the escalators and elevators, you're using the stairs, parking your car furthest away. So taking that, and how can you move your body every day? So, it's so fundamentally important for our brain and mindset to move your body, to create blood flow. And then, of course, as a wonderful bonus, I also like to give the ladies just a short 5-minute workout that they get. It's a video workout, and they have access to it every time and every day, as long as they're a member of the Self-Empowerment Academy. They have full access to the video workouts. And again, they're only 5 minutes. So you have 5 minutes, and you can repeat that 5-minute exercise whether you want or not. So yeah, that's really, really exciting, because across the globe, any woman can be a part of my Self-Empowerment Academy. And again, just growing that whole support and mind shift, because you know what, Trish, I strongly believe that we are stronger as a whole community,
for sure,
at one. And as women, we find it very difficult to ask for help. But you know what, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Asking for help is the greatest thing you can do for yourself.
What's so cool is that we both are trying to target folks who need to break barriers.
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right. We all have a barrier. We may wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You may have heard that story, right?
Yeah.
And you think, oh, geez, how am I going to get through this day today? I have so many things on my to-do list, and I'm just not feeling, that I have the energy. So
exactly.
The way in which we try to help folks sort of come with those little tips and tools that they can overcome small obstacles. Because I totally agree.
Definitely.
We have to celebrate. We don't celebrate enough.
No, we don't, right? We highlight the things we do not like in our day. We highlight the things that, in all honesty, piss us off.
Yes.
Instead of celebrating and acknowledging, you know what, like, look at today, the sun is shining. I mean, oh my gosh, that's a huge celebration, right?
It is.
But how many people are looking at that beautiful sunshine and the positive endorphins and the warmth it creates, right? So waking up every day, and if I can take 30 seconds here, Trish, there's a traditional ritual that we do in our household. And as you know, I have 2 kids. I have a 12-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son. And every day when they go to bed, I always ask them, what is the best thing about today?
Their day.
And no matter how shitty your day was, there's always something positive. Therefore, you're ending the day on a positive note, that positive, mindset, that positive going to the universe. And it's something I do before I go to bed. I have a special little rock beside my bedtime, and before I close my eyes, I hold my rock and say, what was the best thing about today? Sometimes it's really hard to pick out of 6 things. Oh, out of these 6 things that were great. So sometimes I'll say 3, but I always try to pick one, right? So yeah, that's
That's such a great thing to do
it
because,
is.
one of the things that I do is journal
Yeah.
5 wonderful things that happened today. And,
Yes.
sometimes, as you say, the sun is shining, may be the first thing that comes to mind because maybe
Yeah.
it was a stressful day, but you know
Yeah.
what? There's still something really great about the
Mm-hmm.
day. So,
It
what I
is.
do with lots of, and I'm sure with your clients as well, journaling those positive thoughts
Yeah.
are a really great way to help us remember that even though there may have been a challenge today,
Mhm.
there's still some really great things that happen.
Exactly. And I actually hand my one-on-one clients and my fitness participants, they get a gratitude journal.
Yes.
So when they wake up and they make themselves lemon water and then the green tea, it's, I do 10, but if they're not sure, there's like, you need to write 5 things down when you
Yep.
wake up in the morning, what you're grateful for. And after you write them down, just in your mind, go over individually. For point 1, read it, saying thank you 3 times, and then number 2, and it's doing that has really transitioned the mindset. I'm
Shifted for
seeing them
sure.
walk taller. I'm seeing them glow with a smile, and you know all about that, Trish.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
it's interesting because you feel that you need to write down 10 things, and the number
yeah,
10 for some reason is very important to both of us because I chose 10 entrepreneurs
yeah,
to share their story.
yeah.
And some folks have said to me, why the number 10? Why not 12? Why not
Right.
8? Why not
Yeah,
6? Why
yeah.
10? And I just feel that there's power in the number 10 for
Hmm.
some reason. And
Yeah,
I think it talks about collectivity,
yeah.
and we start with one, but
Right.
exponentially we need the power and support of all of the people that are in our own network
Yeah.
to help us be who we can be.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's it's amazing when you have that whole, again, we talked about community
Hmm.
of, it's amazing how that the feeling you get inside yourself, knowing that you're helping make a difference, knowing that you've changed at least one person's lives, quite possibly a lot more, but knowing that you've changed so many. My every year I set a I'll say an inspiration quote, and for 2018, it's I'm inspiring to, or I'm seeing my to inspire 10,000 women by the end of
Woohoo!
2018. And you know what? People say, Tanya, that's huge, but it's not, right? Because Trish, we're empowering each other, and in our communities we have separate from each other, we're empowering them, and then their communities are empowering
For
others.
sure.
When I do my live Facebook's live on my Body Business KW page, you watch how many women are, looking at it. And then I'm having these women come up to me in the city. It's like, thinking, I don't know who you are, but they come up to me. It's like, oh, I met somebody famous. I'm on, I saw your video on YouTube, or I saw your video in this Facebook group, and keep on doing it. It's like, oh, so to get that, I mean, it's so gratifying,
That's
Trish, as you know,
amazing.
right?
Yes.
With your inspiration as well, that it's so fundamentally important what we're doing, and I love what you're doing. I love that you're not allowing barriers to stop you, and it keeps you moving forward.
So let me ask you the
Yeah.
question that I asked the ladies in my book. What would
Yes.
be your 3 words of advice, Tanya?
My 3. Oh, that's interesting, because I was going to ask you that too. So my 3 words of advice, and that's interesting because someone asked me that the other day, and my 3 words of advice is kind of tied up, but it's to keep it simple. I'm going to say to love yourself. I know that's 2 words. Yeah. So love, and another inspiration. And as far as inspiration, that needs to come from inside as well. And the big one, empowerment, but it can be such an overused word. So I'm going to
Mhm.
say self-worth.
Oh, that's
Self-worth.
fabulous. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. And I know you have a quote, Trish. If you're I'm going to read this here to our audience, because it's a really interesting quote that I asked, what's a favorite quote that you live by? And it says, be the person who creates a ripple that starts a wave of change. if we all make one positive contribution, we will have positive results. And I love that, the effect of the ripple, thinking of ripple in water, right? Because when you see a drop go in the water, I mean, how many waves are rippled and how many people can you inspire? So I really, really love that quote. And as far as advice, what's 3 words that you can offer and share with our audience, that can kind of inspire them to keep on going forward?
I would say fuel your passion, because we
Yeah.
are all passionate about something. We all choose different careers for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we are able to create a positive result is because we're passionate about what it is that we do. So I would say fuel your passion, find the
Yeah.
things that you love, spend your time with the people who empower you and motivate you to be
Mm-hmm.
better.
Yeah.
And make sure at the end of the day that you spend a little bit of time on that gratitude journal,
Yeah.
or saying thank you for the wonderful experience that you've had.
Exactly. And as we're coming to the end of our interview, Trish, I mentioned that about your book. So 3 things I need to know from you, Trish. So as far as you have 2 books, are they
Yeah.
both available for our audience to
Yeah, you can
purchase?
purchase the e-version of A Diary of Change 12 Personal Tools on my website, which
Mm-hmm.
is phase2wellness.com, PHAZE, the number 2, wellness.com.
Excellent.
And there's also a link there for Breaking Barriers, 10 Entrepreneurial Women Share Their Stories. But you can also, it's a really wonderful thing to go into chapters and almost use their computers to Google your own title or your name in the store. And the title of the book will come up and you can purchase it from Chapters Indigo as well.
Excellent. And you mentioned your website. So where's other places people can find you? Do you have an Instagram account? Do you have a Facebook account? How else could people, find out
Connect?
about you?
Sure. I have a LinkedIn account that's under my name, Trish Tonaj. I have a Facebook account under Phase 2 Wellness. I also have, very similar to you, an empowering Facebook group called Breaking Barriers, where we share motivational stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a Twitter account. So I think, like you, my goodness, the social media can be overwhelming, and there's so many channels. But I think that any one of those channels would certainly give you an opportunity to link back with me.
Good. And in final closing, I always love to ask this question. What is one thing you are grateful for that you can share with us?
You know what? I'm grateful for meeting new people and the opportunity to share stories. So for me, I'm very grateful for having met you, Tanya, and
Thank you.
having the opportunity to share our stories and fuel our positive energy. And thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you and your network, and hopefully inspire other people to do the same.
And thank you very much again for
Thank
your
you.
time, Trish, and for this lovely conversational interview. I'd love to chat more, but I'm just looking at the time, and we're coming to the closing of the interview. But thank you so much again.
Thank
And
you.
I look forward to checking out your book. I've been meaning to, but definitely you've inspired me to go forth and look at that book, because I was part of an e-Kindle book that's being put together as well. So that's exciting. So I can understand where all the excitement is coming from. And everyone, feel free to contact Trish if you'd like to know more about her and what she does and how she can inspire you as an entrepreneur. And even if you're not an entrepreneur, in your world, and help you move forward, whether it's in your own career or in your own lifestyle. And of course, you know where to find Trish. So Tanya Otterstein-Liehs saying thank you very, very much for listening. If you're catching this on YouTube, then I'd love for you to subscribe, and please comment down below, because I love to read your comments. If you have any questions, please write them down and I'll be happy to answer you. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Keep thinking positive and love yourself. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye, Trish.
Bye.